Hello, greetings Zimbabwe, and welcome to Zimbabwe Daily, platform where we bring you news, information, and all conversations that pertains to our being Zimbabwe. We love you and we love the fact that you're tuning in. This is a Nile radio program brought to you right here on Zimbabwe Daily in partnership with Accountability Lab. And in the studio, I have guests who are joining me. I'll allow them to introduce themselves just shortly. So we are talking service delivery in Chitungwiza, and today our topic is looking at transparency and accountability. What does that even mean when it comes to service delivery? Is accountability, is transparency important when we talk service delivery? And to help me unpack that topic, I have a counselor, I have a resident, and I have a residence trust representative right here in our studios. If you are joining us, just indicate where you're watching from. If you've never been on this page, welcome, and do like our page and follow. You can also follow us on the National Association of Youth Organizations Zimbabwe Facebook page, and you can also follow the activities that we do on the website at NIO Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being with me in studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'll allow you to introduce yourself. So I'm just going to start from the counselor and move this way. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, thanks so much. I am Councillor Chengetai Nyangondo, Ward 14 is Zengeza in the municipality of Chitungwiza.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Councillor. Over to you.
Hello, Zimbabwe. I'm Barbara Zama, a Chitungwiza resident from Ward 6. I'm also a volunteer at Polite Africa Trust that is located in Zengeza 4, the Chitungwiza Information and Publicity Center. I'm also a holder of a Politics and Public Administration degree at Great Zimbabwe. I'm very passionate about change, development, and the public in general. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. My name is Tabitha Kofi. I'm representing Chitrust. Besides that, I'm a pastor, and I also work with women. We are empowering women in Chitungwiza and also youth, empowering them.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. And in order for us to just bring everything into perspective, I would want to start with you, Councillor, as a representative of the people. When we talk accountability and transparency, what does that mean to you as Councillor?
Yeah, okay. As a councillor, accountability and transparency. I understand it from a perspective of doing things in openness and in the ethics that it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
That also involves engaging the citizens so that they can participate in whatever you are doing. Service delivery being key in our day-to-day business as a council. Mm-hmm. It must be done in a way that pleases even those who are being served with the service. This is the way that I understand transparency and accountability.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to come back to you to ask some questions arising from your own definition. I'll come to you, Tabitha. What do you understand by transparency and accountability? And the reason why we're doing this is so that as we have this conversation, we all understand whether we are coming from the same understanding of what transparency and accountability is. The danger in assuming that we know and we understand is that we'll always be arguing and having conflicts around issues because we are not seeing from the same level. So we just want to start off from the same platform and be able to go further. So over to you, Tabitha.
Okay, thank you. In any months, we see about accountability and transparency. I think it's not ever good. We have to be open. We have to show if you are kana kuri kuti tiri kushanda zvatiri kushanda zviri kuoneka here zvine zvazviri kuunza here zvine shanduko here. That's what I think.
All right. Thank you very much. At least there's an agreement that there's openness in how we operate. Over to you.
Okay, I take transparency and accountability as a relationship between residents and the council that has to be respected and enforced. And also leadership. It's trust in the council, knowing that you are representing us, you are delivering the services that has to be delivered, you are giving us the information that we need, you are taking responsibility as leaders and saying we are accountable for our actions. I think that's it. And as well as the residents also, we are taking responsibility as residents and also saying we are accountable for our actions, be it good or right.
I like your definition because it gives responsibility to both parties. It is not just the elected representative, but it's also on us as residents to say, what is it that we need to be doing? So I'll come back to you right now and say, what is service delivery in your own understanding?
Okay, service delivery is the delivery of public services. Those are services that are supposed to be free to all residents, in this case, Chitungwiza. I think that has to do with walls, electricity, water, drainage system, sewer system, as well as lighting. I think I can say that in short.
All right, thank you. And yourself?
And what I think is service delivery is it's kuwana mvura yakachena ikodzero yedu sema-residents. Ma-roads kugadzirwa kwawo kuti akanaka here. It's for us as residents. And kuona kuti vashandi ve-council vari kutambiriswa here. It's a service delivery for us to know.
Okay, awesome. So mvura, roads, lighting, sewer systems, kutakurwa kwemarara is all encompassed in service delivery. Councillor tiudze, ndimi muri kukanzuro. Basa renyu se-council, what is it for?
Yeah, icho walichocho zvotaurwa nevataura ndo the core business of council to provide a service delivery in all areas dzamentionwa nechief first. Not only kungoti maonekwa muchi provide service delivery isiri enough. Inofana kunge iri service delivery iri yakapera iri enough kune mungoma residents. Mvura inofana kunge ichiwanika zvakakwana. Sewer yacho inofana kunge isingabheste kana ipi yakabhesta inofana kunge ichigadzirwa within a short period of time. Panofana kuva nenguva inenge yakatarwa kuti once taita problem yesewer, a reaction team inofana kusvika paground within such a time. Zogadziriswa. Refuse inofana kutakurwa even it most should be twice a week. Though isusu tichizotakura once a week due to some other circumstances, it's beyond our control. Then toenda kuroma roads, yes, they must be passable. Anofana kuva maroads anofambika.
Lighting?
Lighting, yes, there should be enough lighting. I think it's one area in need of concern, considering the fact that takinda nguva yezhizha inge vanhu vakuda kurima zvinowedzera kuunza madangers ekuti vanhu vanga vachifamba murima vachibatwa vachitourawa. So if there is lighting enough, zvinoita kuti at least kune kuti chaedza chekuti kana munhu akafamba life yavo won't be in danger. Though as council tinogona kunge tisina enough resources to erect new tower lights in the new settlements, but I understand tinofanira kuti tichigadzirisa ari existing noya kuti anga achishanda ese, because some of them ndoanokwanisa kuzopa light kuma new settlements are within our area.
Right.
So
Right. Is that part of the planning though when the new settlements? Because I think Chitungwiza has continues to hog the limelight around Nyadzema irregular households. I remember the last conversation we were hearing in excess of 400,000 households regularized, and you are clear in terms of the services that you ought to be giving to the people. So, Tirukuraska Papi, where are we failing to get that?
no, in Chitungwiza we had some challenges. Some yesteryears there was ndingangoti pakaita dambudziko rekugadzira masettlements aya mamwe acho they were being created through politics. I don't write that fact because some of the settlements are not yet even in the system in the council. We are struggling even to regularize. The way to regularize it in itself is very simple to explain, but when coming to implement on the ground, it's not so easy because of politics. So this is the reason why in Chitungwiza, it's very difficult. Though we want to provide good service delivery, but at certain times we face some challenges as a council. So for the past period since 2018, we have been talking of regularizing those residential properties so that they come on board in the system. Kuitira kuti residents vaya vachiti service delivery haisi only on the part of council, but iri kwese. Council and residents, we need to engage each other. Then so toita kuona kuti pamwe chete from the same platform. Because residents they are also very very important. Because no one fund the council. Council is a profit organization. You know to fund by the residents. But the residents actually, if they don't come on board, it's not about funding activity now won't be enough. He provide service delivery yakakwana kuma residents ese ari kuti Chitungwiza. When the fact yekuti vaya vari kuma residents ari informal, they are enjoying free service because kuti aende paanogara munhu iyeyo anoshandisa existing road, which existing road is not being maintained nesenderani rake. Vamwe vacho they connected to the water illegally. Vamwe vacho
and they're getting water at the expense of those who are actually paying. Yeah, okay.
So these are the challenges that we are facing in Chitungwiza. If there is no political will, I foresee continuing like this for so many years.
When we talk of political will, I'll come to students so that you can really unpick for us political will. Kumboti kudini, because are you not the politicians? Who wields the political will?
Okay, yes, truly we are the politicians. But what I want to explain is like the political environment in this country is not like in other African countries or in European countries. We, even after elections, we tend to continue competing. Yet we should not be doing that. To find out that as a basa was about politics. But you find it years later, my settlements are much through politics. Those people who are settlements in politics involved. If you say these properties must be incorporated into the system, no, we were given this land for free.
Hey!
So how come Mount must pay? Yes, in the very information I want to share with you this. But my properties is Chitungwiza. Any my properties are. Which properties we are following because I happen to be the chairperson of audit. My properties is so far years. It's not clear to the public, but those properties were sold. And we are still telling the people we were not yet completed with the investigations. But my properties that are being used by people who are just given through politics, and those people are not paying.
I see.
Like the BLOs, electoral properties, like the BLOs, creches, and all other properties. Hapana properties na munhu. If you go through our audit report, external audit report, inotokudza kupesera kwacho last pages, inenge ichikudza kuti Chitungwiza ine maproperties aya, but they are not paying anything to council.
So in other words, you don't have a property to talk about.
Yes. So ndamboisa that topic mungoona kuti in as much as we want to provide a good service delivery to the residents, there are other challenges that are not also open and clear, which we feel if residents come on board and we have in some engagement meetings, we should share so that we don't have a blame game. Council yes, also the issue of transparency and the accountability must not be forgotten, because it's true to say councillors, we are politicians, but our duty only is to put policies in direction. Then there are those who implement. If you happen
Saka tukufoerera pa implementation here kana?
Yes, by implementation, because in Chitungwiza we have 499 resolutions which are not implemented up to now.
Saka kana maisa policy and it's not implemented, then what?
If there is a policy and it's not implemented, by law we are empowered even to deal with one person at council, who is the CEO, the town clerk. For your information, around 2018 from 2019, I'm not forgetting the date, we suspended the then town clerk, Mr. George Makunde, because of incompetence. And Chitungwiza, his challenges now was most of the staff are on acting positions.
Okay.
Town clerk, HR, chamber secretary, yes, all those people are on acting capacities.
Okay.
So I'm just giving you the background.
All right.
So that you can judge for yourself. But we're not gonna institution in a wakawana directors are on acting positions. Can that institution perform to the satisfaction of everybody?
Interesting. I will come to the issue of the people who are acting, and I would want our residents to also come in, because Gunzima residents are Moscow, you are not responsive to the request by council. But Clancy Simbarashe Rutizira has sent this question over to you, Councillor Anzi. What are you doing about certain properties that are not being put to use, like that abandoned bar in Unit A?
Right. The last that I visited Unit A, we had a tour. That bar, we were made to understand that there is somebody who is using that bar. And because when we went there, there was a jewel, a perimeter wall, there was a rest by somebody. So I understand there is somebody who is using that Unit A bar, that is Chikoma, I understand.
Okay. All right. So that is the response of the councillor. Somebody is using, but who becomes a mystery. Over to you, Chitrest. I'll come to Chitrest. My residents and the ahasi kuita come through to support the efforts of council. We have the same residents who say we don't belong to you, and yet they are using services from Chitungwiza town council. Munoti kudini zviri kutaurwa na council?
Ina ndibvumirane nawo because vakaiswa nani muchitungwiza? Ndiana nesimba rekuvabvisa? Imi murimi council yacho. Ndiana nesimba rekuti abvise those vasiri vakagara pasiri pasingabvumidzwi?
Ndiana nesimba rekuti vakagara pawasingafanirwi vakagara vabve. We understand there was a whole issue about Mabamba and stuff, and now he is gone. But there's a problem in Chitungwiza. How many more years before we see that issue of illegal settlements? Well, I can't say illegal settlements, but we've got people who are settled in Chitungwiza, who have beautiful houses, who are using council water, who are using council sewer systems, who are using council roads, who are benefiting from our lights, and yet they are not paying anything to you. Saka zvichagadziriswa rini? Chimbotitaurira mwanasikana kuti political will. Tiri kumboti kuti chaizvo chaizvo.
Thank you very much. I would like to take it as political interference, as you was trying to postulate it. But before there is politics, there is service delivery. And I was noting down your responsibilities as council as you portray them. You did not mention anything to do with the representation or feedback. It's been 40 years and you've been failing as council to provide the basic services in Chitungwiza, right? But we're saying we love you, council, we have trust in you. Just love us a little bit and have trust in us also. Come back to us. Tell us what is really the problem. Are we the problem? How should we help you? We are not doing that. There is no feedback. You're just doing everything behind us.
Background.
We don't even know.
Right.
And then in terms of political will or political interference, I think we have to embrace decentralization. You have to use your power as the local government. You can just involve the central government. Each time there's a problem in Chitungwiza, you just go and point at the central government. But then you are the one on the ground. What are you doing about it?
Right.
Should we go direct to the central government as residents? We can't. That's why we are coming back to you,
Ms. Council.
because you are the one who is close to us. Do with the politics. We only want the service delivered.
Right. Deal with the politics. We only want the service. Councillor nasi ndimi muri pa hot plate because I know you always have defenses. You always want to come back and say political interference iri kushandaza. Maybe you can unpack that for us. Kuti chii chiri kuita kuti tive nema-acting positions ku-council yeChitungwiza? Why can't we have a substantive somebody who is competent enough to run with the work of council? Chii chiri kumhonya yonetsa? Ivo vacho vari ku-acta vacho, are they so incompetent that they can't work? Are they not empowered to make those decisions even in the acting capacity? Chii natsotitsanangura kuti kana nanzi ndiri acting director nasi, ndokoniwa here kurana an institution because I'm acting. Why can't I just be effective so that you also see that I'm very effective and appoint me substantive? Chichi kunetsa kuva nema-substantive directors.
Okay. Takafamba nechikamu ichocho zvakanakisa zvokuti I'm sure if you are done with those on suspensions, tinogona kubudirira kuti tiemploy, but as of now some other areas hatigona kuemploy because vanhu vatiri kuti pane ma-acting directors ma-substantive directors acho tari kumasuspenda vari kudzimba pending their hearing. So hearing kana ichinge yapera taona kuti anokwanisa kudzokera, tinenge takuita sei takuziva kuti uyu anodzoka. Kana taona kuti hakwanisi then we can employ.
But how long does disciplinary take place? I mean, you talked about 2018 suspending somebody. This is 2021. Takutoenda kune next election.
No, that one zvayo yamaya to Makunde is finished.
Okay.
To Anayo was dismissed.
Okay.
So we are about to employ. The only issue is the executive vakazo appeal. So if there is an appeal, it stops temporarily stops what they have done. So if I put things to children tine acting. Then the other issues that's what yes. Pamunopisa substantive paya ndiye amunenge makaemployer through according to qualifications. Pamunozotora acting pamwe pacho munongopika a staff within that day section. Hamutarise kuti pane nogona kushaya vanhu zvakakwana zvinoita kuti ave director, but and they are not allowed to go shopping outside.
For enacting.
For enacting.
Okay.
Enacting when it comes from within.
So
izvozvo zvinoita kuti basa rinenge chifanira kuitwa nemazvo properly and according to the act. Anoritadza kana kuita neway yaanokwanisa kuita nayo and hamugona kumunya kumusunga. Anokuziva kuti I'm just acting, makamondisa panapa handisi qualified.
Okay.
Yes. So it disturbs the whole system where basa residents. And izvozvo zvakutadza kubasa kuma-departments kuyaga cascade down to the last employee anenge ari panopanga achiprovide service delivery to the residents. Also, what you must be aware of, Panyanzi we employ local authorities. There are some trick. So as council, we just advertise for
For a position.
Show my interest. What does apply? And then when we apply, then we shortlist and streamline to one Sarah 3 on local government body. We don't really employ because the appointment part of employment is done by the central government through the local government board. Is also easy by Chamber Secretary. We did that. Tried my interviews. Second out, but 3 people. They rejected 2. And there's a stalemate now. We need to go back again to the drawing board. But the advocacy while to exalt names. So it's not easy.
But you make it sound like a long process. Can I reject? I mean, should it really take that long?
It takes a long to even a year.
Really?
Because since January 2021, we have been doing that issue at Chamber Secretary. And we paid August. In August, take a second one local government board. Because the local government board that is
the local government board. It's new.
It was just really, if I'm not mistaken, it was appointed around June or July.
Right.
By the local government minister. So it's a new board. So we could not even employ without a local person. Panama positions under local government board.
Right.
Why you can have board story you don't employ. This is the reason why I take on my acting positions.
Councillor.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think we have a problem in Chitungwiza. We have to solve the problem, right? We don't need a change of people and faces. Suspension won't benefit us as residents. It's actually a drawback in terms of service delivery.
But maybe the question is, why are they suspending those people?
Yes, and what's the reason? If it's misuse of public funds, we don't care about the suspension. We need the funds back or something like that, so that service delivery continues.
Actually, it's quite it's actually bewildering. I don't know about you all who are tuned in, but for me, as I'm listening to this, I'm actually bewildered. Famba say, why is it so difficult? If somebody steals money, why should they be suspended and not fired? Why are we wasting time? The audit reports are there and everything. Why do we have to keep incompetent, corrupt individuals within councils and not deal with it? But anyway, I'm sure you have a way of doing things as government, at a local level, going up in those areas. Now, I want to ask, there's a question that Clancy asked about Jambanja, and it says there is another issue of Jambanja. Council can generate more income from there. Why is it failing to monopolize Jambanja? Because I believe it has been grabbed by bullies who are benefiting from the money, which must benefit the whole community. I think these are the issues. The big man, syndrome iripo yekuti they take over what should council be benefiting from, and we shouldn't be having issues with the service delivery like what our resident here is saying. We shouldn't be having problems. We should be having service delivered to our doorstep, but you've got these cash cows that are seated and not giving you the revenue that you need.
Thank you so much. Isusu se council takatoita zvakawanda concerning Jambanja, not Jambanja alone, but even Chikwana, a market. Then there's that one in St. Mary's Shiguanika, just behind the bell. People buy about my shops, but my house to Matungo, Nuka, to snap on this to double to visit to kind of but now no politics, no Zimbabwe. It must not be Chitungwiza. You cannot separate politics from a council. If you go there, and councillor, but what's come on face of the thing ilipo. Jambanja ita ma-adverts kutsvaka ma-partners kuti vati gadzire infrastructure, state of the art infrastructure. And ndichirangarira munhu wani wandoziva akauya achida kuti paconcept yake ndimumwe anonzi Chamuchiwanza. Akauya nevery good property proposal yaida kuita pachikwana paya. Tikauya ndikaona makomana vemaformer players ebhora vaida kuuploada Chibuku Stadium so that chinogona kuhosta ma-Premier League teams. Kanzoiona zhinji yawana mari. Tikawana vakomana vaida I'm not forgetting their names. Vaida build a market echigowanyika. The place can no longer be built anything because pane zvimwe zvanyuka ipapo zvakaiswawo through other means. But because panguva taitotaura kuti isusu toda kuti zvinhu izvozvo zviitwe pakazongoerekana pato nemafoundations atotanga kutovakwa, which means defeating the idea.
Zvichitwa nani?
Imi murimi council. Zvikuitwa nani? It's like izvozvo zvekujambanja izvozvo. Munhu vanouya nekabhuku kecouncil vachinyora ma-receipts vachibhadharisa vanhu. Mari yacho isingaendewo council.
That is thieving. Handisa kutenda zvekuti iye zvinhu
vachichitwa necouncil.
Zasendri makaona kuchirwiwa kwako vakatorwiwa nema-two groups vachirwira of the same political party. Iko vashandi vecouncil handigone kuvaexonerata, though I cannot point kuti ndovarikuzviita because ma-seats can be manufactured anyone achingoisa logo recouncil, because tine vashandi vecouncil vamwe vakatosiya mabasa but vaine knowledge yekuziva kuti we can penetrate this area through this. It's something chatoda because of politics Chitungwiza inonetsa kunyatsoiitana sema-local authorities.
So what are you doing as council? What are you doing?
Isusu as council, remember, we are a local government board. Tinoto shandisa mutemo. Atingati paita politics toenda nepolitics azviti. But tichanga mutemo pamwe pacho unogona kuti even ma law enforcement agencies acho anotenga ari part and parcel of that group nezi inenge itaita. So zvinoita kuti council haina is totally haina simba. Because ndikuda kuti isusu tokona kunyora my eviction orders tichitoidivhira munhu pamuproperty council but anogona kuramba arimo muproperty council.
Saka Chitungwiza haina council ine politics.
Chitungwiza ine council because already we are isusu for information. If you visited a council, I'm sure it's from Wednesday or Thursday last week. Makaona paine reference track rakatinyowani rakauya rero. Ever pasina council there in September because we are there. That's why we are.
But you are failing to deliver because muri kuti hamuna mari. Ofuchi mari yacho ndiyo yatiri kuti chiendei kujambanja. Munoita zvinhu zviri proper. Muchibhadharisa henyu vanhu muchiisa mari kucouncil.
Ndatomuta ndichiti ndipanditanga takatoita anything about jambanja. Tikaita anything something about chikwana. Tikatoita advert for partners. Do I express my interest? And they came and expressed their interest. They lectured on us. They made an agreement on the signing part into the management. It was signed on the document to attend the bus. Then we were stopped by the PTC. I told them, no. You're doing the wrong thing.
The PTC, the provincial
development coordinator. And he said he should have gone through the ZIDA process. There's a body which is called the ZIDA.
What is the ZIDA process?
I'm not forgetting the real name, but what the ZIDA is the acronym.
Okay, that bridge.
Ikoko wantiwo is a board, kachizokwanisa kuverify kuti vanhu vamuita partner nawo havasida kubira here Ministers Council.
Okay.
But the minister was not happy with that because we went to the minister sometime. He was surprised with the markets. And we said, no, ativake because the minister makamisa. And he said, no, I did not do that. Why are you lying to me? Management was copy. Management was SARS when we supposed to bring them in. So that the director of Moribo Messe. So we discovered what he Pane Kakusato put it in a pache.
Right.
Was issues councillors. What do we do on that direction? And direction, those who implement one chemical reporting structure after one shandisa we are central government.
Right.
And the central government you would find what Bangladesh go to Matsamba. And I thought no, somebody have one minister in Bomila. All the one minister is not even the minister is not even agreement with that. So that's why that's that one. As long as there is no political will,
right.
All what is happening is politics. It's happening.
Interesting. I think there's therefore a need for a holistic look at the whole issue of Chitungwiza when it comes to transparency and accountability, because as you are speaking to me, my understanding is there's something that you are doing, and probably maybe what she comes out to, which is the point that I want us to get into as we begin to round up our conversation, is Murukudzoka kuma residents, motuzoti market kuiswa. So we have these expectations of this great works that needs to be done. But I don't think you are coming back to them to say, tastopwa from the ministry. Ministry. I think when it comes to the issue of transparency and accountability, that's what we need to deal with. My residents are kuzvinzwisisa here. Kuti pane location yakati iri irregular yatoda kuregularize. My residents ko ari and arikutaura nyaya yekuti ABCD. So what becomes the way forward so that the paying residents can do something about it, can deal with those issues, can engage, the Chitres, for example, and other organizations that work with communities. Are they in the know of these things? And are they also using their structures and their muscles that they have developed within communities to then go back and say, we need to work together? How do we make Chitungwiza great? How do we develop a smart city in Chitungwiza? Since 1989, you've been a town. That's 40 years. What is it that we should look forward to for the next 40 years? Tongoraka dormitory town, Kanempava, all of that. Yet there are beautiful people in there. They are very, we have scholars in there. We've got residents who are passionate about the area. So todini, the Ganditangre kuma residents. Right. Sorry about that glitch. But let me start with you, Kuma residents. Jaka Mira say, Twitter say ninya transparency and accountability. What are you expecting the council to do going forward? Takutopinda 2021.
Okay, thank you very much. I was listening to you and you were saying something that was very captivating. Something about political will and the central government. But then we don't need the central government for drainage, for sewers. You were saying you were in Ward 14, right? I understand that is in Zengeza 4. I volunteer at Chitungwiza Information and Publicity. And just in that street, near Otano, every day, there's sewers. Every time. Do we need the central government for that? There are places in New Zengeza 5, in Chitubu. There are places like Rufaro. There are places like Takashinga. You are not coming back to us and saying we don't have funds to rectify those problems. You are just quiet. And then I would also love to engage the citizens in terms of transparency. We also have Chitungwiza Publicity and Information Center. You are also free to come there and ask anything about council, since it is an organization under council. And there's also a Facebook page for council. But I was scrolling on the Facebook page for council. Last information that was posted, it was, I think, 21 October. I mean, really? There's a Facebook page. You're supposed to engage with us because we don't know you councillors. You don't come to our wards and say this and this and that. So at least use the social media platform so that we know what's really going on. Yes.
That's what I think. You have to come back to us. It's like you and Yekuti tarambidzwa kucha zvakati. Come back to people. More chopatana miminesu. Then we go and talk kune vari kumusoro ikoko, I think we can win kana tabatana ma-councils. But apa it shows as we are not transparency, kune corruption yakanyanyisa. I think that's what we are afraid of. Bosi, kana musiri that part of corruption, you come back and inform vanhu. Tiri kutraya zvakati zviri kuramba vanhu, then tobatana pamwe chete.
Yes, you can respond to that.
Ndinoda kuti ndipinde ndichida izvo. Ndakambotenderera ndaita mukana wekutambira so many words. I saw so many councillors giving some feedbacks, though has not enough. And I want to applaud you for talking of the feedbacks. It's a very important issue, a very important component. There is no way a council can move without engaging citizens, because we want citizen participation, and they cannot participate when they are not being engaged. Councillors as representatives, we should engage the residents so that we tinogona kunzwa zvichemo zvavo tozogona kuzviarticulata. But on the issue yesuwa iri pautano, handifana kuzotaura suwa iri pagomba paya ndofunga makaona kuti takachinja pipe ngei paya. The pipes dzesuwa dzemuchitungwiza, they've outlived their lifespan. Most of them hachitoripo pasapo, pangosara shape chete, pangoshepa kuti iraundi kurire rakanga ripaine pipe dzakacollapse most of them. This is the reason why muna kuti kubva kusediments kunobuda kueni mukapfura nepasi pipe and mopfura chambanja, mukaona try again kune nzizi dzeshuwa. So sure, I want to be very clear that we are overwhelmed with this council. The funding in Good Pipe is very huge.
How much is huge?
No,
I know you probably don't have the figures right here, right now, but I think it's fair for residents to know, right?
Yeah.
We've been asking about the Muda Dam, for example, and no one knows Good Kodamari until recently when the deputy mayor spoke about it. So residents cannot know what is needed unless they know the amounts. If you say Parkudo $100,000, but my residents, there are more than 1 million residents in Chitungwiza. If they all come through with 50 cents, you have the funds, and people want to develop their area. But unless you connect with them, unless you come to them and say, guys, it's 100,000, 100,000 actually, people cannot trust you unless you show that you can be trusted, like what our resident here is saying.
Okay, I think an issue of coming up with a figure really is done by the technocrats, who are the management. For the issue of Muda, we also gave them that directive which come up with a figure so that we know. Because issue of Muda, the previous council, Yakatongo engaged a partner who was a white man who wanted to do farming, and he was prepared to build a dam so that he cannot change the land. And then the central ministry, the central government, had to come in and say, no, guys, we should that's why I want most of the projects that we initiate at global government level, at council, things that is not shoot what that's was
Saka devolution aisoshanda.
Aitoshanda, not here. Was it ndakamboiona payakaimplement Nigeria and stuff. But what we are implementing here is
it's not working.
It's something else. I think it's working. We cannot even give it a name. To be honest, Chitungwiza, you should also be very honest. Because Chitungwiza, I think I don't want to Chitungwiza Nana Carmen and Mama, my financial Singapore. My issues are Chitungwiza mostly we engage Chitungwiza. Chitungwiza awareness, but part of Chitungwiza, my stakeholders meetings, and sure management, councillors, my stakeholders. So we even a budget this year. We created what we called a budget committee, which involved the stakeholders so that they can bring their input. But in the budget, budget is not perform because our previous budgets, perform below 50%. And there's no way you can build anything ne budget is perform below 50%. At certain times, it's not going to perform 27%, which is very catastrophic figure. I see health for an institution.
Right. Right. I'm going to have to stop this conversation right now. And my prayer is Nayo and Accountability Lab brings this conversation back, because I think there's so many issues. And I thank Clancy for tuning in, and you're really passionate as you raised my issues. I'm just going to read a few of your comments. And as we conclude this conversation, you say, Clancy, as a community in our council, let's unite so that we ensure that there is no road blocked in sewage. It is not going to be a council versus residents issue. It's going to be a council and residents issue, right? Thank you so much, Clancy. You're saying you are looking for sponsors, but from the little money that council collect from time to time, hamusi could develop anything. Why toilet epajampanja ichibhadhariswa while muchitora mari again muvanhu oro haisi kusvika ku council? I think those are the issues. Council should then be able to say at the end of the year, this is how much we've been making from Jambanja, so that people know how much they're contributing. Because it won't make sense if I'm paying $50 a month for a table ku Jambanja. That is probably an inflated figure, but I'm paying so much. And at the end of the month, you tell me that you are raising enough money that only my table is able to pay for. What is happening to the 1,000 other tables that are around? So issues to do with transparency and accountability are key. And residents also, we should be able to come out to these meetings, because they're claiming they do feedback meetings. You're saying they don't do feedback meetings.
They are not coming to people.
They're coming to who?
I don't know, because kana kuri kuti marambidzwa kuvaka, then isusu hatisi kuzviziva. Tiri kuuya kwamuri tichiti, why are you not using those beer halls kuti muwane mari? Why are you not using matoilets aya akabloka akavharwa aya? Agadzirei vanhu mopota muchiita vanhu 50 cents or 20 cents kubhadharisa kupinda imomo? Imari yecancel.
Issue wekuenda kuti ndinokumbira nekuencourage maresidents kuti panoshedzwa paya kuti ngatisangane tiite mafeedback meetings. Let's encourage our constituents to come out and listen to the councillor, and also have a chance to aim my issues edu kuna councillor. Ndati ndakatenderera ndichiona mafeedbacks aiitwa. Yes, we feel very pathetic because maresidents edu havana shungu zvavo yokuva part and parcel nebusiness secouncil. Vamwe vanongoti kana budget itaipo kumuzouya motiudza kuti matirendikati imari,
because hatisi kuzoona zviri kuitwa zvacho after taita budget. Saka tinorambire tichingoramba tichiuya kwamuri.
Ndikuti ipaya panotibatsira kuti tibvunzane mibvunzo yakafanana neiyi yatakubvunzana panapa. Kuti muri kuzoitei
nemari iyoyo,
mukuitei nepajambanja, muri kuitei nepamakoni, muri kuitei nepasemezi pahuyadzi
Nemabia halls.
Nemabia halls. Ndapotaura pano ndakakuudzai kuti isusu as policy makers tine 499 resolutions dzinosanganisira kuti pachigova nyika pavakwe emarket tibvise vanhu vari kutengesera pasi vaya vanga vari mumarket imomo, tokolekta mari, council yoita chii? Ita mari. Pachikwani chamuchiwanza akauya ne-state of the art structure yaida kuva market paya
zvakablokwa.
then pajambanja the same, one office yakakuti stop zvangomira, and panostopwa chini kuita restart zvinotora nguva. Mukachakastop muna June mazozotanga kufuta zvacho next year. Right. Nyaya yemuda demo, previous council yakaita advert vadasvaka vakatoda partner vatopedza atoita feasibility study yake zvikanzi stop. Up to now 7 years later anything.
Thank you, Mr. Councillor. Thank you. I'd like to applaud you for your action, for your good deeds, for your bottom-up approach to decision making in terms of budget formulation. But why don't you do the same when it comes to council expenditure? You come to us and say you want to do this in terms of budget, right? Why don't you come to us and say you want to buy a car? How do you feel as residents if you buy a new car that costs this much with public funds? How do you feel as residents if you want to go on a trip that costs as much or this much? At least you should do that. You do that with the budget, right? With the budget formulation. Why don't you do it with the expenditure also? Because you're claiming that you don't have funds, but then you're spending the funds.
The little funds that are there.
The little funds that are there, you are spending it on. We are watching you.
In conclusion, Councillor, please respond to her issue and give us a promise or something that we can hold on to.
She's raising a very pertinent issue, which she must be attended to. I think it's very proper and prudent kuti tinofanira kuti tidzoka kuma-residents tichiudzai mashandisirwo anofanira kuti achitwa mari. Yes, zvimwe zvacho zvamuno must also know kuti, for example, to talk of some issues like trips. Mamwe acho anogamba atiri ma-government directives, and a directive in its nature inonzi haipikiswe. Munotopikisa maita se maita.
Zvakanyorwa here kuti haipikiswe kana kuti ipfungwa dzekuti because zvataurwa nemukuru hazvingapikiswe ingorifiye.
Because zvakafanana neipapapo tine serious issue yema-sewage.
There's a section in the Urban Council Act. In order, I'm sure I'm not good at quoting. I could have quoted the section, but it's around 300, it should be 319 and so on. In order to minister as a taula, no munyorera yes, but nenge maida se matoita. So zvinozvacho unozonyora muchitaura zveikana
zvinemaita. All right, I'm going to have to.
This is the politics that I was talking about.
I'm going to have to cut this conversation right here. Otherwise, we will go for hours talking about service delivery issues in Chitungwiza. They're calling for transparency. They're calling for accountability. That's what the residents want. As much as you're spending or coming to us to talk about the budget, also come to us and talk about the expenditure. How are you using the money? We are also being told when a directive comes from government, then who is to oppose it? Now, the question is, where do we meet? We want service delivery. They want to follow orders. How do residents respond to council's ways of doing business? This has been a program brought to you by the National Association of Youth Organization in Zimbabwe in partnership with Accountability Lab Zimbabwe right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of day.